Hey, hello, hi, it's Isabelle. Welcome to or back to my channel if you're new here. Today I have an exciting video about advice for incoming freshmen relative to college and things I wish I would have known going into my freshman year, or things that I wish I would have taken more seriously. But I'm super excited to be sharing it with you guys today because I hope that it will help you guys, and I know that going into college is kind of a nerve-wracking and exciting time. So I hope that you can take something away from this video. In addition to that, I will also be having a college series on my channel, and I know that I said that I did this last year, but I just underestimated the amount of time that I would have. So I'm hoping within the next few weeks that I can put out some content that's related to that and will help everyone who's going into college. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to be reading off my phone, so if I'm looking at it or looking down, that's why. So the first tip I have is to always try hard. Even if it's freshman year, you're going into it, I know it's exciting and there's lots of new things, you're in a different city, just everything's new and exciting, and you might have a tendency to maybe slack off a bit, but you don't want to do that. I really want to emphasize that you want to try hard even in your freshman year, even when you're taking like just some easy classes that everyone has to take, because when it comes time to your senior year and you're looking for a job or you're entering the workforce or anything like that, you might regret slacking off freshman year if it somehow impacts that negatively. The second tip I have is to balance between studying and having fun. Now, I know that this can be kind of difficult because college is meant to be fun and you're supposed to make friends and make memories and stuff, but you're also getting an education. So it's really important to kind of find a balance between that. And I'd say that your first semester is really important in doing that. You kind of want to get in a routine of when you study, how much you study, how you study, and when can you go out, when can you afford to, slack off a little bit and just have fun. So I really do think it's important to have a combination of both, but also you want to make sure that you're balancing them because too much of one thing or another could potentially not be great. My third thing is get your homework done early. You want to make sure that you get your work done, get your homework done, get your studying out of the way as much as you can. So if you have a class and then you have a break in between another class, use that break wisely and use it to do your homework or study or something, because later when you're out of class that night and your friends want to hang out or the bachelor's on or something, you're not going to be able to do that because you wasted the time that you could have been studying. So just know that it is a personal preference. Like, I like to study at night and do my homework at night, but when it comes time to having fun with your friends, you don't want to have to sacrifice that just because you didn't take the opportunity to study earlier. My next tip is it's okay to be undeclared and go in undeclared. The first year is about experiencing and exploring different topics, and that's what you want to do. It's not that declaring a major is necessarily worse or better in any way. Some people just have a better idea of what they want to do, and during your freshman year you're gonna have to take so many different classes just that you're required to take because they want you to kind of dip your toe into each of them and see what you're really interested in. So it's not a penalty if you don't know what you're gonna do. You don't even have to declare normally until the end of the first semester of your sophomore year, so you have plenty of time. My fifth piece of advice is to find good study habits. Everyone is different, everyone's study is different, but it's really important to find what's going to work for you. And it's not always necessarily what worked for you in high school, because that brings me to my next point is that college is different than high school. It's a lot different. The classes are different, the rigor is different, time management, everything is different essentially. For me personally, I had really great study habits throughout high school, and I thought that they would get me through my freshman year of college, but even going into freshman year, I had to change a lot of my study habits. I used to be able to just read my notes over and over and over and essentially memorize what I needed to know, but college really isn't about memorization anymore. It's, do you know what the heck you're talking about? Did you understand the information, and can you apply it to something else? So I would really just, take the first semester to kind of feel it out and see what's going to work for you. And if you fail the first test, that's fine. They always say that it's fine. You can always get it up. But if you fail the second test or the third test, then maybe you do need to change your habits, because that will happen. And since there's only like 2 tests, 3 tests in each semester of each class, if you bomb 2 of them, you bomb the class. So just make sure you're getting on top of those study habits. So next is to buy for me, I really needed to buy a legitimate planner. I had one that had every day was its own page, and it had from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you could write what you needed in each thing, to do, reminders, everything like that. So I could literally, block out what I was doing, when I was doing it, and everything. It just helped me see it on paper, visualize it, and it helps when you are studying and you say you're going to study, block out time to study or do your homework. Your paper says you have to do it, so you might as well do it. Going back to the idea that college is different from high school, I do want to iterate something that it literally takes weeks to study. So for high school, you might have been able to get away with, studying the night before, or maybe not even studying at all because it was easy and you knew what you needed to do, basically. But it's really not how college works. I would highly recommend blocking out 1 hour a night and dedicating it to one class if you have a test coming up, and do that 2 weeks out. You want to start studying a little bit every night, because if you don't do that, you're going to procrastinate, and then you're going to have to shove so much material in your brain, and then you're in a panic and hope that you can pass the test, basically, and you're putting so much pressure on yourself. So just do yourself a favor and make sure you're giving yourself plenty of time to study. And also try different methods. I know for a lot of my professors told me that if you have to read a textbook, for example, if you read the textbook, they want you to turn that input, the information you got, into output. So teach it to your family members, teach it to your roommate, teach it to whoever, or ask questions, quiz yourself. You need to have different study methods. You don't want to just be memorizing everything. Next piece of advice is to try and make at least one friend in each class, because there's going to be days where you're sick, or maybe an emergency happened, something where you couldn't make it to class, or just you're lost. And that one person that you asked for their Snapchat or their number, or just said hi and sat by them, that may be the difference between you getting the notes that you need when you miss class, or if you don't understand, or even having a study buddy. So that's really important. Another thing is to introduce yourself to your professors. It's really important to do this because it builds a relationship with your professor. It doesn't matter if you're at a small university or you're going to a big university, because it shows that not only do you care about your grades, you care about school, you care enough to ask for help, basically. Go to their office hours. That's really important. Make sure you're stopping in, asking them for help if you miss something on the test, if you need a little, extra work or help. They will do that for you. That's going to be the difference between maybe them bumping up your grade a little bit if you need it, or being like, sorry, I don't even know your name. So it's really important to establish those relationships, because they're on your side. They're there to teach you, basically. This is relative to dorms. I think it's really important to leave your dorm room door open. I know that my freshman year, my hall, for some reason, didn't really do this. Everyone just had their doors closed. So we didn't really establish a community. I didn't make friends on my floor. I only had my roommate, basically. But I know that in at other colleges, or even just the year before when I went to visit the college, there were everyone's doors were open. Everyone was making friends, and it looked like so much fun. So I definitely recommend doing that and not being stuck in a hall like I was. And if your hall isn't doing that, start the trend. Just open up your doors. People stop by, say hi, participate in events. That's one way to really put yourself out there and, build on your college experience. It's not fun when you just sit in your dorm room all the time and you never get out. Even if it's not a campus or like a college specific event. Like I know that me and some of my friends would go get ice cream like once a month even, because school's stressful and hard, and who doesn't love ice cream? So just something like that to really get you out of doing the same old thing all the time, you know? And it's a good way to make friends. The next thing is to familiarize yourself with your campus. So like I'd say 1 or 2 days before classes even start, I'd go around to each of your classes and just make sure you know where they are. You know, just kind of get a feel for the campus, see, you know, what building, where's the classroom, because you don't want to be late on the first day of school. Kind of sets a bad impression, and yeah. The next thing is to get sleep. I'm very guilty of this. I am the type of person to stay up and study and do my homework before I go to bed. Like, I have to get it done. I have to feel comfortable with being able to take a test the next day, and I won't just go to bed at like a reasonable time, like 10 or something like that. Like, I will stay up until 1 to make sure that I know the content and I've gotten everything done. But I wish I could get more comfortable with the idea, because even there's studies showing this, and all my professors always told me that someone who like gets a reasonable amount of sleep, like 7-8 hours, will do better on a test the next day, even if the person who stayed up studied more. Because sleep is literally the determining factor of how you do on a test. And I'm not saying don't study and only sleep, like that's really bad, but just make sure that you're getting enough sleep and quality sleep. And when in doubt, like, choose sleep over, you know, schoolwork. You know, one test, one homework won't be the end of you. Just make sure that you're really taking care of yourself. My 15th tip is to rent all the books that you can from the bookstore or from other sources. There is pretty rarely a reason why you would have to buy new books. Like, I just think that's kind of silly. You're wasting a lot of money. Not only should your bookstore rent books out to you, but there's also Amazon and Chegg and other different websites and places that will rent books out to you for a lot cheaper. And if you need to buy something new, then I would at least look for a used one. Like, there's really no reason you should have to buy a new book. It saves you a lot of money. So just take care of yourself. You know, college can be stressful and sad and depressing and anxious and overwhelming, but also like exciting and happy. So you really want to make sure you're taking time for yourself, do a little self-care, you know, do a face mask here and there, like really take care of yourself. Also, if you get sick, go to the doctors on campus. That's what they're there for. And there's the therapists on campus. If you're going through a rough time, like, you're already paying for that in tuition, you might as well go. Go to the gym, work out, go outside, you know, just like take some time for you. That's really important to do, besides going around like a freaking chicken with your head cut off. Like, you do you. So that was my 16 pieces of college advice for you guys. I really hope that that helped in any way, shape, or form, and I hope that you take some of this and bring it with you to college. I think that these are important and you should take it seriously, but also, you know, do you. Just do you. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my future videos. I will be posting some more college related videos soon, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.